Guys, so today we're going to be doing a full day of weekend eating and we're going to show all of the meals that we had. This is actually not a very typical weekend day of eating for us just because we usually fast up until lunchtime around 12 or 1. We've been doing keto for a little over a month now, so all of our meals will be keto friendly. All 3 meals total for the day is less than 20 carbs for me. And we actually recently got the Keto Mojo ketone tester. I tested my ketone levels that morning before we ate anything when I was kind of fasted. And it read 2.8, so I know that I'm kind of doing keto right. So our first meal of the day was our breakfast, aka the best meal of the day. And the first thing we're going to add is our eggies. Ethan's showing them.
Yeah, this was a really good meal. I wouldn't say it's exactly like pancakes, but it was close enough to kind of make you feel like you're eating a pancake, even though it's still keto. So yeah, you can see it is pretty rich. We're adding in a good bit of cream cheese to all those eggs. So it's not exactly low calorie, but
I think they taste exactly like pancakes. I don't know what. But we're adding our little mixture of almond flour, a little bit of xanthan gum, a little bit of vanilla extract, and a little bit of pumpkin spice flavoring just because, you know, fall life.
Yeah, it is fall.
So we're going to add that in there, a little tap tap. So we've got this like in our little stand mixer bowl. We're going to take it over to our stand mixer.
We don't have time to be hand mixing all that.
Also, we never use this stand mixer, so we need to use it because it's really cute.
Yeah, we don't do too much baking, so this was a good opportunity to put this to use.
Also, I've been told that if you don't use your stand mixer very often, it gets bad, but this proves that you cannot use a stand mixer for a year and it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it worked like it was brand new.
And we definitely should have let our cream cheese soften a little more. We put it in the microwave to let it get a little more soft, but as you can see, it's still a little bit clumpy, chunky business. And once it kind of gets to the consistency that we're looking for, we stop the little mixer. And I'll go and get my little measuring cup. And I try to make all the pancakes the same size. That's why I use my little Pyrex measuring thing, but I'm really bad at actually doing that. So Ethan's going to put our mixture in there. Grab a little spatula. He's going to put that in there and get it ready to pour. We've actually tried this recipe before without using the xanthan gum and it came out way too liquidy and watery, so we added about a 1/4 teaspoon of the xanthan gum this time, and as you can see, sheety thick.
Alright, now that we got all that batter measured out in our Pyrex, I'm just checking the heat here, making sure it's hot enough to get these cakes sizzling. I'm gonna get the butter and just put it right on there. As you can see, you gotta be very precise when you're about to place your butter. You gotta really listen to the pan, know the pan, understand the pan's needs, and then you just go to town.
So at this point, we completely just decided to not use very precise measuring and got a little ladle out and started ladling little tiny cakes onto the pan.
Alright, so now while the cakes are cooking, we're gonna cook our sausage. So we just got a little bit of avocado oil spray here. So we're just gonna do a light coat on the pan. We're not trying to add too much extra fat to the fatty pork.
And 1 serving size of the avocado spray is 1 second spray, so try to not go above 1 second.
Yeah, don't get carried away with
don't get too crazy.
Spraying for days. So I'm pretty much just putting these balls of sausage that we weighed out previously. They're both about 100 grams each.
These are actually the ground sausage that we got from the farmer's market the day before. So this is the normal ground pork, and I added some ground sage and just salt and pepper to it. Cooking breakfast for us is making sure we have all the right tools. For example, the perfect coffee mug.
You gotta represent the Marvel superheroes.
Getting crunk. Also, ambiance is a really big part of cooking too. This is a good Glade fall candle that I got last year or maybe the year before. I don't like to burn candles because I like how they smell too much and I don't want to not have them around. Now all that's left is just to flip our pancakes, let them cook, and get ready to eat.
Also, don't get too impatient when you're trying to flip your pancakes because as you can see, if you don't wait long enough, they might not be quite done. It might try to fall apart on you.
Alright, so here are the finished pancakes with the nutrition facts for the whole meal. And we've got also nutrition facts for the keto pancakes themselves, as well as the nutrition facts for the sausage, which is right here. We use the nutrition facts for the Butcher Box breakfast sausage just because, you know, it's from a local grocer, so we didn't have the straight up nutrition facts. I like to put a little dribble of the Birch Benders maple syrup, just for like a little bit of extra breakfasty flavor. And next up, we have lunch for that day, and I forgot to mention, before we work out, I like to drink one of these little Rain energy drinks. I pretty much just like the lemon heads flavor. It's pretty fire.
So our lunch was a sirloin steak with some sauteed mushrooms and onions that we kind of just cooked up in the juices left over from the steak. We did get these steaks from Butcher Box, and they have, you know, really high quality, delicious grass-fed steak. So we try to really, you know, take our time and cook them as good as we possibly can.
And so the things that we're going to use to cook the steak today are some Kerrygold butter, our mushrooms and onions, a little bit of avocado oil, and our cast iron skillet, and then a little spice mixture that we made.
So essentially all I'm doing is just adding a little bit of oil just to coat the very bottom of the pan, then putting the seasoned steaks in there, making sure they have good contact. I think I did about 2 minutes per side. Let those get a nice sear. And okay, I think we are ready to flip these bad boys.
Couple of test
Get out my
flips.
tongs. Alright, now that they're flipped over on the other side, I think we seared them for about 1 minute, and then we kind of shifted them to one side of the pan and started basting them with some of the butter.
After we added the butter, we added the spice mixture to the butter, and we maybe should have used less spice mixture because I think it kind of got a little burny. That's my bad for trying to be too flavorful.
Now that the steaks are adequately coated in the butter, we're going to throw in the mushrooms and onions and kind of just get those all rubbed around those delicious juices.
And now we're going to throw the whole cast iron skillet in the oven for a couple minutes just to let that steak cook through more. And now we're going to pull those steaks out of the oven and put them on a plate to rest for about, was it 8 minutes? 5 minutes?
Yeah, about 5 to 8 minutes of
Let
rest.
them rest on there and have a little bit more of, you know, the carryover cooking. And here are some nutrition facts for everything that we ate. Overall, this meal turned out delicious.
Brings us to the last meal of the day, which was kind of a sage pine nut bolognese pasta, if you will. Obviously we used miracle noodles instead of normal noodles, which have almost no carbs, so they're a great substitute for keto cooking. Here are all the ingredients laid out, all of our mise en place, if you will.
And there are noodles waiting to get boiled. Here's their package, by the way.
Okay, so we're going to start off by just kind of sauteing up the ground beef. And typically we actually cook our meals in separate pans. That way we can just kind of really control what each of us are eating so that we can kind of hit our macros because obviously we both eat different amounts.
If we shared one big bowl, one of us could get more food, and I kind of am very territorial over my food, so I'm not trying to be short.
So yeah, it's good to weigh it out ahead of time just so we both know what we're getting. Alright, once we've kind of cooked all the meat adequately, we'll dump that out of the pan so that we can get our butter, pine nut, sage, and shallot mixture into the pans.
We're going to add our measured out butter into our respective pans and kind of let that heat up a little bit. We'll coat our pans with the butter, and then we're going to dump in our pine nuts. Ethan's going to get those all good, add in the sage, and then I'm going to dump in some garlic and shallots.
Okay, once we have cooked the pine nuts and all that and let everything get toasty and delicious, we add the pasta noodles in, the cooked ground beef, and some marinara sauce. And we tried to find a marinara sauce that didn't have any added sugar. And we also added in some spinach just to make sure we're getting in our healthy veggies.
And then we're going to season everything with some pink salt and some black ground pepper. Make sure everything's seasoned really well, and then we're going to dish it out into our bowls. And there you have it. There is our dinner. Looking sweet. I also had a snack later on in the day. I had a little block of Tillamook cheddar, and then I also had 56 grams of mascarpone with a little bit of cocoa powder and stevia in it. So here is the final breakdown of my macros for the day. So thanks for watching us cook our breakfast and our lunch and our dinner, and we'll see you next time.